Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. And in this one, we're going to continue on with designing the base in our creative world, as I am actually right there in this seat. So let me just pop on out, and let's go take a look at some of the things that I've already been working on here, upgrading the base that I will then take this blueprint back into the proper world and yeah, project it and build it. Alright, so this has been copied over essentially from the most recent version of my base in the actual game. As you can see, we have everything, including, say, the solar tower down here. There is the build and repair for the solar, as it has been plunged down from the base to the solar tower so that it can repair it and build it up. But we have made a fair amount of changes to this. For example, let's start off over here with some of the obvious stuff. So previously it had gone straight out to this point where it had continued to go, and then this was where currently the prospector is docked up. But I'd like to make this dry dock a little more accessible, so we're adding some guardrails here and some graded walkways that will run on top of the connectors. The idea being is that I've run this hallway down here, and now I'm going to adjust this stuff. So more than likely I'm going to move this over by one and just align all of this with this hallway. The idea being that this hallway is going to connect to the main base, and this is going to be the main hub. So say you are coming in from one of the airlocks, and I added an airlock script that will automatically move me through. You come in here with a ship and you land on the nice designated area. These are just interior blocks with their sort of little emissive marks pointing upwards. I think it adds a nice separation that, you know, oh, here is the spot that you land and the spot that you walk on. You come through here. Every single airlock, this one doesn't have it for some reason, but it should, gets a button panel right here, if I can place it correctly, that will activate things in this one, like, say, lights, and then the different doors, like left and right door and exterior door and stuff like that. So if you want to get off your ship, come over here and press the button to close the doors, you can. Also, we're going to have cargo access on every single spot, and I figured I always find it that, like, for example, with my old series where I was on my Zion moon base, I constantly needed to run back to a particular spot in order to just get access to the inventory. So having inventory, small cargo containers just littered throughout the base, I think is going to be very useful. So every single hangar, it's like if these were all closed, the small cargo container will be available every single time. Oh, I'm working on something. Oh, right there. Grab some stuff and then go back to it. We have a little bit of these railings here to sort of separate that area out, make it so, you know, just in case you're working here, it's pressurized and that started to open and depressurize. Well, you could grab onto the railing during the depressurization event. Of course, you know, that's only for movies and such. We don't have that in the game. Other than that, I removed the center light up in the ceiling. I didn't think it was that required, and put an interior turret in each one so that we'll have a little bit of defenses. If somebody tries to sneak in through the hangar bay, there literally isn't a spot in this room that turret could dominate from. So I'll get those built up, and then I'll put like 100 magazines in them. And honestly, I'm playing this in single player. They're never going to fire, but the idea being is that they'd be up there just targeting small ships and characters so that we could defend the base if needed. And if you're going to take this design, as I will I'll eventually get this shit on the workshop. You can have a nice hangar design with defenses. And then trying to do a little bit of decorations here, like we have the freights, Freight 2 and Freight 3 beside each other in this corner here. And I'm thinking that for all of the freights, I am going to color them. Oh, come on, no, I want to color you, not add you to my build planner. Oh, I'm trying to withdraw stuff, yeah. I think coloring the crates, specifically because they color such that the top and sort of the clasps on them stay gray, coloring them something is really cool. And like these are the sort of the industrial yellow kind of feeling, like the same color as the Prospector. I think that should be good. Like for things that are yellow will be our industry stuff. So like for example, we could paint our cargo containers yellow, and then they're like bright and very stand out. It's like, bam, there's our cargo container. Also, we got some cameras in here. So let's head on in from here through Hangar 1's airlock. All we have to do is just press it once, walk in, it'll close. This one will open automatically, walk through, and it closes automatically. It's just an automatic little script. We've got, of course, I need to put a light in here eventually. I should probably have the light directly over. Why do it eventually when we could do it now? The light should be probably directly over that airlock spot there. Like just like that. And then we can go in here, and for all my interior light, I've got sort of my beigey color that I like, 240, 240, 220. And then we just need to pop the radius up, and we have light in this area. For these pathways, I was thinking that we could do sort of little, little seating areas. This is kind of like a, how can I describe it? It's like an airport lounge. Like you're just going in, coming in from your airlock. You're going, okay, well, I'm coming in to do some business at the station. I'm going to go back to my ship. There should be like these little alcoves that you can wait in as you're waiting for like maintenance to work on your ship. So I was thinking we can have a double there, a double there, a single there, make a nice long couch. Then we could put some planters, and of course I can always recolor this stuff because this is sort of my industrial yellow. This is colored right now, but hey, still looks pretty good. Then we could do with some LCDs on the wall behind them. It's too bad you can't put right there, but we could put some LCDs up where, or maybe on the opposite walls, and then you can use the text to LCD panel script that somebody wrote. Oh God, I think it was Whip's image converter, if I'm not mistaken, where you take an image and you feed it into this thing, and it'll spit out a text that you can then put into LCDs. So I could put up posters and all sorts of things on the walls, like above the couches and such. I think it will look absolutely amazing. Then maybe here we'll have a little, I don't know, maybe in the corners we want a sort of a business area where we've got some tables and chairs set up, that kind of thing. It would just be an area that would be all set up so that people, if they needed to, could just enjoy their relaxation as they're coming in to the station. Try to make it not so militaresque as it is now. But from here, we would continue along the designated pathway to here, still using the stairs from the, I believe it's the more catwalks mod, as I like the fact that they're solid, and at the other stairs that are available through here, the standard stairs being these, which are over 2 areas long, so that's too long for me. These are the sided stairs and the 1x1 sided stairs. This is what I'm using here, where the normal stairs from vanilla, the new ones, are graded, so they have, like, you can see through them. And I didn't want that there. I wanted this to feel thicker and feel stronger here, like it's more built up. So yeah, just like so would be good. We can come up the stairs here. This is entirely temporary right now. I'm going to relocate the gravity generator from there up to here. More than likely, the fact that it's got the gravity components, and I don't want to lose the gold from that. I probably should just get more gold, but I could theoretically detach it from back from down there, take out a window so that I can move it through here, and then reattach it over there. It should probably work out. From this seat, what I'm thinking is that we're going to have the ability to look through a whole bunch of cameras here. I'm not sure which ones are which, because I need to go in and label them all and do all that kind of stuff, but that's just like boring off camera. But the ability to look through and have cameras for every single docking bay, you know, minus the center one, to be able to see what is going on. Because, for example, if I go and I go to the airtight doors and I close them all, well, those aren't closing because I've renamed those ones. I can't see the other docks, but oh, hey, now I can. Now I can look through the docks and see them and see what's in them. So you will have that ability. Now, it's too bad. This used to exist, from what I understand and from what I've seen, is there used to be a mod that you would be able to put up an LCD panel and you would be able to display a camera's feed on the panel. And it worked by essentially stealing frames from the game. So if your game was running at 60 frames per second, like, it would steal a couple of the frames and you would go down to like 58, 59, and it would have like 1 frame per second sort of thing. And so it would be a little janky. Your game would slow down massively as it was re-rendering that scene instead of the scene you are currently looking at. But it would be live cameras. I mean, like, I wouldn't have to set them up to be like super live. Like, they wouldn't, well, like 1 frame per second would be fine by my, even a frame every 2 seconds or something would be okay for a single player, because all I want to know is essentially what's in the other rooms while I'm looking on these cameras. But it's too bad that doesn't work anymore, because he just found it was too difficult to keep it updated. Darn. But we're going to put a whole bunch of, I'm thinking, airlock controls, statuses of whether or not they're pressurized and such. I still haven't figured out where I want to put said pressurization. I know what I can do. I can more than likely, I can put pressurization behind this. So we have cargo container, and then you have the panel, and then we can do vents behind it. So let's just punch into the wall here and punch through the floor, and we could put conveyor vent here. And I always like building, when I'm modifying stuff, to have a different color that I'm working with so I can easily see what I've changed. Oh yeah, that looks really good. Okay, I'm going to do that for the rest of the design. Conveyor vents. Excellent. So we'll have the status of the various places, you know, whether or not the room is pressurized, whether or not the doors are open, and I'll figure out how to get all that information on there. It's probably part of like automatic LCDs, or I just have to maybe custom make a certain thing to see, because a readout, like hanger 1 readout, like doors, like open, closed, pressurized, yes, no sort of thing. Other than that, we have our base projector and such that are all up in this room. All this is very temporary, and I'll probably be syncing it into the wall like this right now, which is doing the power graph script, which is showing this for our power usage. Let's head on down and go into what is now, right in the game at the moment, this is where the base cuts off. Over here is essentially just a flat area of armor that I haven't decided what to do yet with it. But this is what I'm thinking. And we'll just get some extra light here, because I can't really see what I am doing. And I'll just slap an interior light down right here. And get that particular light part of the group. We'll just increase its radius. Not worried about its color for now. So, you would come in from docking your ship around the nice wide corridors here, and you would get to reception. You can come on up and you can talk to reception. Reception's got their own armory and bathroom here so that they don't have to leave, and if there's any intruders, they can arm themselves immediately. You know, just some nice planners, some seating while you're waiting to be seen by reception. You can sit on these chairs and have a nice wait. We are going to have LCD panels here that will have directions, essentially what is down the left corridor, the right corridor, and behind here is also a corridor. And then reception wraps around. It's just planters here. You have to go to the front desk to talk to people. Some more things. Because if you're coming down this way and you come along here, it'll tell you what's this way and what's that way, sort of thing. Same here, more directional LCDs. Entrance to reception. The idea being, what I want to do is we're going to have this hallway go down to the dry dock. For the moment, the dry dock is going to be exterior of the base, but in the future that will change. What I'd like to do is, I think I have more than enough room here, considering I know that this right here at the tip of my welder is essentially like where the edge of the asteroid is. Considering I have all this space back to the base, what I'd like to do is I'd like to create something maybe about this long, like maybe 30 blocks deep. I'd have to see the dimensions of, or why wait when we can just bring up the Kopesh. Kopesh. Ah, this is the one I use for repairing my ship here. We could theoretically have enough space that we could make a hangar that would be inside the asteroid, like those hangars over there, but for large ships. And so we could, if I place that there for size reference, we could make a hangar that is essentially, if I want to pull this out to give an idea of how big it would be. Oh, come on, here we go. 25, maybe 30 blocks wide. A little big. Maybe 25 would do fine. Let's get rid of 5 of those. Yeah, 25 blocks wide to give you plenty of room to easily fly in there and also have other material around you. And then, say, 40-ish blocks long, around that size. Those would be the hangar dimensions. We could have large ship hangars and maybe, I don't know, 2 of them. Maybe this is a bit big and I do it maybe 50% larger and I fit 2 ships in there or something like that. But I could easily figure out a spot on the asteroid where I could sneak in a hangar or two to be internal. And then I could have some just external charge ports, which is what these could be. And then I could have an internal maintenance hangar where I'd have all the build and repairs inside the hangar. And that's where I build the ships, is in an actual dry dock. Because yes, the dry dock is something where you take a ship out of the water and you suspend it, and then you drain the water out, and then the ship is there in the dry dock, hence the name. So I don't have a place where I can take the ship inside and then work on it from all angles. So I'm thinking we can do a large cargo bay dock here. But then that will mean that our regular airtight doors aren't going to fit. We're going to have to make a custom blast hinge door, possibly using some merge blocks in order to make it extra big and extra awesome. Or we could get some mods, because there are some mods that have extra large airtight doors. So we could add those. But yeah, that's way in the future. But that's what I want to do with the dry dock area. And then also, just in this area, shunt off to the side a little bit here, and then make a cafe that has a great big window looking out onto space, and be like the like Stargazer Cafe or something along those lines, so that we could have this maintenance area and a cafe, and then we could have some other things along here and whatever we need. Beyond that, so that's what's going down this hallway. Going down the left hallway, I'm thinking it's going to go over here. We're going to branch off, and there's going to be just mass storage. So just a bunch of storage containers and storage tanks for both oxygen and hydrogen. But after it gets past the hangars here, I don't think I'll ever need more than 5 hangars. And I don't even think my tunnel is properly set up for me to take more than 5 hangars. So we're going to stick with 5 for forever. And once I get past the hangars, like right here, say 1 block past them, I'm going to take a hard turn and go this way. And instead of staying down there, I'll just turn, a little bit of a landing, and then just stairs. The hope being that if I get the right angle, I can be up and over the tunnel that is right here, where the hangars have access to, and I can get to the other side and then put industry on the other side of the station. The reason for that is, of course, with realistic sounds. Like, for example, if I pop into here and go for the hydrogen engine, we can hear the engine whirring. And I can hear the engine whirring even when I'm outside the ship. Even though technically I'm in space, I should not be able to hear it. It's arcade sounds, so who cares? But I still hear it, even after I'm pulling away. And it isn't until, say, around here where I don't hear it. And I believe it is actually further for larger ships, like with the dromedary here. I have hydrogen engines right there, which I should be able to access. Yes, I can. And so we've got the engine there. And let me quickly turn off the music. Oh, did not save those. So you can hear this a bit better. So I'm going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks. Yeah, those 7 blocks away. I can still barely hear it right here. And this is, of course, with me having headphones and it turned up high. But like 8 blocks away, you can't hear it anymore. So I want to have things like these goddamn noisy engines. I want to have them sequestered away where they're not going to annoy me at all. Because, oh god, I hate their noise. At least for an engine room. We'll put it somewhere else. Hydrogen storage and engine and stuff like that can be like up and over and sequestered away so that if it accidentally explodes or something, it's in another part of the base. Get the music back up, which was somewhere around there. This has just been like half an hour of me just being like, this is my space crib, and this is like the bling that I have in it and stuff like that, which is fun. Then, as part of reception here, we can come through. I haven't labeled these yet, but we have some very fancy washrooms. We've got multiple toilets. Like, it's too bad there isn't like an actual just like sink thing. The only sink you can get is like part of the shower, which is kind of annoying. Should be on 8 here. Yeah, here we go. So, for example, we have the shower. This is the only, like, sink that I can find. Which is fine when you're just making a tiny little bathroom with one person. But if you're trying to make, like, public washrooms, which is what these are, the stalls and such, I need a sink. So I'd like to put that here, but for now I just got some seating and plants because, you know, make it look pretty in here. And then, ooh, it's a public washroom, but what are these? These are public little sort of change rooms, shower, so you can come into here and have a private little spot where you can close up the door, have a shower, change out your suit, and then head on out and be refreshed. And of course, there's one on this side and is mirrored over there for men and women's washrooms. Oh, I must think of all the little details for this space to make it more livable. So we've discussed what's going down here, which will be industry storage, essentially. That's going to be space maintenance. Behind here, going past reception, through here, which I have not put my interior plates down. Here we go. Get the pathway down the center of it. Coming down this way will be medical, assembly, the control room, and more than likely the reactor. Because, if we remember, there's that ball of iron that I'm pulling out. Where it's located compared to the base is, if we're looking here at this base orientation, it's up there to the high and to the right. So the idea being is that I'm going to have, so we've got reception, washroom. Coming back here, there's going to be medical, a barracks, just a, you know, a room just for decoration. There'll be a control room, a big control room back there. And then off of the control room, there's also be a pathway that will go and then like maybe up an elevator. That might be fun to build. And then over to that empty void where I'm gathering the iron from. Within that void, I want to build... Oh god, I don't know what they're called. It's... Okay, I'll just build it here, and you guys can probably tell me what this is called. So we just need some rotors and some armor. The idea being, you have this rotor going up, and then we'll symmetry this, because we can. Then from here, I would make this a circle, but for now we'll just make it a square, because it's easier. You would have a square of something. I need 1, 2, 3, there. 1, 2, 3. And then cap it. And then inside that, you would have another circle, or at this point, square. Would have to get that hooked up. There is a way that you can have rotors on each side of something. And then inside this would be a reactor. And then for this, let me just get rid of that for a moment. We'd grab a seat just so we can control this. And for both of these rotors, rotor 2. Wait, did I? Ah, yes. God damn it. When I deleted the other side, I still had symmetry on, so it deleted this. The idea being is that both of these rotors would spin. I'm just going to rebuild that centerpiece real quick. When both of these rotors are spinning, it's going to create a really cool sort of design to it. Rotor 2, rotor 3, velocity 1 RPM, with then the reactor in the center. And I would refine this so it would look a lot better. But essentially, that's how it would be inside that that room, with the reactor in the center, with this double or maybe even triple rings around it, causing it to do the cool spinny. And then, of course, you can just, like, you can turn this up to absolutely stupid levels. And we could just have this reactor spinning. And we could take them and go to them and set one to be a little bit slower than the other. And it would slowly sort of process through. So it's never at the same point every time it comes back around. And that would be my reactor. And that would be in that circle that I'm digging out with the iron. I think that is going to be cool. And you wouldn't even be able, like, you won't be able to get into the room after I seal it off, because I'll put windows to it so that you can only look into it. And this will all be done with, like, advanced rotors and conveyor tubes and stuff like that. So you can feed the reactor from the outside without having to go in and get near it. And then this reactor would just be spinning, producing all sorts of wonderful power for us as we are just having a cool looking reactor room. It is totally not required in terms of having the reactor be functional. Realistically, all we need to do is just slap a reactor down somewhere. But that's boring. Like, for example, with my assemblers, what I want to do for the assembler, and also for the modules for it, probably speed module, I'd like to do a stand coming up, and then put a advanced rotor, then put the assembler, and then the speed modules and such. And then have it so every time we... Oh god, I can't spell. Oh my god. There we go. Velocity. Here we go. 10 RPM. Our assembler will always just be spinning. Just because we can. Why not spin my shit around? Like, I could just make an entire room that was full of random pistons and rotors that was all just things rotating and spinning and pistoning in and out and pulsating just to make it look cool instead of what, you know, static, boring assembler. But yeah, I think that is sort of the design and the future for the base. I'm going to continue to work on this design in this world for a bit and get this next sort of section. I think we'll get reception done, and we'll make that in the game with the bathrooms and such. We'll get out to this area. From there, I'm going to make medical, and then once I have that done, I'll put it into the game, and we will build that. So that'll probably be the next episode, is us building reception and medical. I'll not have this hallway just yet, as I'll do my dry dock upgrades in the future. But for now, yeah, this has just sort of been like, this is my crib, but in Space Engineers, and just plans that I have for the future. So hopefully that was enjoyable. If not, the next episode will be relatively soon. Beyond that, for episode plans, I actually, in the real world, have purchased a new computer. So, not like I just went and threw down a programmable block and bam, I have a new computer. I actually purchased a brand new tower, and we'll be upgrading to that next week. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to record, there's this episode that I'm recording on Saturday, that will probably go live later on Saturday or early Sunday. I'm going to try to record an additional 3 or 4 before the computer gets here, and have them in the bank to upload so that I can have them continue to come out while I'm setting up the new computer. Once I get the new computer, I get it all set up, I'll do a tour of it, tell you what all the specs are. I'll have some, say, comparative footage of this game with these, with maxed out graphics, how well it performs on my computer, how well it performs on the new computer, just to show you like the power that I'm purchasing. And it may take me a little while, depending on how quickly I can get my recording software and rendering software back into play. But the hope is that I get the computer right before next weekend. I spend the weekend setting it up, and then I'm back to normal video creation. So it's probably, what would that be? Midway through December? But hopefully for you guys, you shouldn't see any drop in videos, because I'm going to try to get several of them done, so I have a week and a half or so of buffer when I can get the other computer running. But that is going to be it for now. We have plans. There are several projects to do in the space, and it will continue to grow and grow until it is the best asteroid base in existence. But that is going to be it for now. Thanks for watching, and good building out there, Space Engineers. I could possibly just use random words instead of my standard good hunting, but otherwise, good building out there, Space Engineers, and see you next time.